Good evening. Welcome into the Power Hour. It's Tuesday night, and you know what that means, as they say. I'm Steve, along with the urban sensation, the icon, and the Reverend C. Red. Hello, Red. Got the real deal Rion skills. Good guy, bad guy, just a guy. Hello, Rion.
What's up?
Rion's out there somewhere in the ether. And tonight, our guests are too strong, and they're all here for a reason as we are building blocks on top of blocks heading into May as CCW returns it doesn't return, debuts at the Berwyn Eagles Club. I'm talking about, of course, promoter extraordinaire, ring announcer extraordinaire, John Bullard. Hello, John.
Hey, Steve, Red, and Rion, and all the guys. Hope you're all doing well tonight.
Listen to that guy read a phone book. Anyway, John, thank you for being with us this evening. And then, of course, we have those two. And who are those two? Well, if you've been watching independent wrestling anywhere, you know who those two are. There's a lot of gold in that picture, as well as a lot of green, but we'll get to that later. Please welcome the Wrestle League Tag Team Champions. And what are those other belts you're rocking there? I'm having trouble seeing them because I'm wearing sunglasses at night.
That would be the IPW
The
tag team
IPW
titles.
tag. Well, see, I miss a show and all hell
What
breaks.
you mean missed the show?
You were there when we won them.
Right.
I was.
We've
I
had
was
that
caught up in
for
the
a few
workhorses and
months, I
some other
feel.
kind of mayhem.
You
I'm old.
Getting the Breaux stash?
right, exactly.
Maybe just a little bit. Anyway, it's the IPW Tag Team Champions, the Wrestle League Tag Team Champions, the blunt man and chronic of professional wrestling. It is none other than Chad and Tad. You know them as the Breaux.
Yeah, dude. What's up, guys? How
I
you
prefer
doing?
the Bill and Ted of professional wrestling, personally.
Bill and
Yeah.
Ted, blunt man and chronic, Captain and Tennille, whoever you are, it's great.
Cheech and Chang,
Yeah, I did. Teach and Chang. Oh Lord.
yeah, dude.
Shot it.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot to talk to the Bros about, Kiss notwithstanding. So it's going to be a great show tonight. I'm very excited for all of these people to be here. They're magnificent performers, and we're going to get inside their stories for sure. Before we get going here, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got to talk about IPW. We got to talk about crash tested wrestling. We're going to talk about the Bros and where they come from and how high they really are. We're going to talk with John Bullard about the amazing amalgamation of companies that are coming together under one umbrella. So we've got a lot of things to cover, but over the weekend, I had kind of a special activity on Sunday. I officiated my first wedding. Now, having never done it before, it was unusual, strange, quite the sensation, quite the rush. If you've seen Chicago style wrestling or global professional wrestling or the original crash tested wrestling, then you know one of the wedding participants, none other than Mr. Infinity and O, Jack Moody, was the groom, and Meg Money was the bride. And now together they are collectively known as Mr. and Mrs. Infinity and O. At least that's how I was told to announce them this past Sunday. So
Cool.
it was an amazing night. What a wedding. What have you ever been to a wedding where the cocktail hour is a karaoke hour?
Cannot say I have. No.
That was the most unusual, and somewhere there's footage of me doing it. I hope that it never surfaces because not good at all. But that's the there. It was one of those weddings where when the bride walked down, when they came down, there they are. There's Jack or Brian is AKA Brian. That's Brian Moody and his lovely wife Megan. They were married this past Sunday. Congratulations to them. One of the most magical weddings I've ever been to. And when the bride walks down the aisle, it's usually to the wedding march. Here comes the bride, etc. But no, she walked down to a very high-end piano version of Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. So that tells you all you need to know about this particular wedding.
That's
And
awesome.
as the officiant, I was given a lovely bottle of bourbon as a gift. And we know we enjoy whiskey here on this show. So
As
real
you
quick
should.
before we get going, I'd like to raise a toast to my good friends Brian, aka Jack, and Megan. Many years together, much happiness. If your life is anything like your wedding was, my God, you are the luckiest people I've ever seen in my life. So cheers to you. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Infinity and O. What a moment in time. Cheers.
Hello.
Ooh, that's a
Salute.
nice bourbon is what that is. Okay. So we've got the wedding out of the way. Now we're moving on. Let's start with the Breauxs.
Yeah.
Shot it.
I remember the first time I saw the Breauxs, and they came in to IPW, and I believe I was told they were in some sort of security position. I'm like, are they security, or is Lindsey Buckingham playing up the street and they're his roadies? Because they came in and they were all decked out in Breaux wear, and I'd never seen them before. So I'm like, who are these guys? And as time went by, you didn't need to ask that question anymore. And for anybody was at the Halloween show for Wrestle League when you guys wrestled as Blunt Man and Chronic, that is
IPW.
huh? What?
The first time was IPW.
No, the first time was
that no? That might have been John's show. Where did you guys do Blunt Man? I know it was in Homewood.
The Blunt Man and Chronic, the first time we did that was at Homewood.
yeah, at Homewood, and then for the rest of the month because it was Halloween or October.
I know you went down to Elgin and you did outside.
Okay. Yeah, we did Fear on Chicago Street as Blunt Man and Chronic also.
Okay, there they are, right there.
Yeah.
A moment that will be forever etched in my mind, forever etched in time, was when Blunt Man was perched high above everybody, and the entire building screamed, "Fly, Fat Man, fly," including myself, in homage to the film. And they hit that shit, and it was one of those moments that transcended wrestling.
Is that what they said?
The crowd chanted the shit.
Yeah,
But
it was great.
But it's fly, fat ass fly.
Well, they said I thought it was Fat Man. I thought it was
No, it's fat ass.
Plus, it might have been ass. I'm old and partially deaf.
I thought you were just making it child friendly.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to correct you.
No, I stand corrected as I often do here on this show. It's just kind of how things work.
Don't let Steve fool you. He has a foul mouth.
Well, indeed, on occasion when needed.
As I jumped off the top, I even tried to grab my cape to make it look like I was Batman. So
you did, and it was amazing. And just
I'm
watching
a huge
you guys
Kevin Smith fan. So
what? When are they coming out of the closet? We have to wait a whole year to October. You guys need to wear these all the time.
No.
I never want to wrestle in that costume again, to be totally honest with you. It rides up. It's not fun.
No, the coat, it is ripped so many times. Trying to climb the top rope in that my smoker's jacket now is
next year it'll be a different costume, but it'll
oh man, that's too bad, because that is the most over gimmick I've ever seen in real time. We were talking before we went on air about how you guys got together. So let's talk about how the Breaux were born. We all want to hear it. We want to know, were you hatched in a lab? How did that work?
So, I guess we have the same dad, but different moms.
Yeah, and then I refed, and I found out he was my brother, and then we found out we were brothers, and then we started wrestling together, and it was cool.
Yeah.
That is... I mean, you don't get that just anywhere. That is an origin story. So when you found out you were related, what made you decide, you know what, we're brothers, let's become a tag team, and let's become one of the greatest tag teams of the area?
It was this dude. His name was Triple D, Drake Dixon.
He was always bullying my bro, man.
Yeah, and he hired him specifically to be his personal referee or something like that. And so then me and him started beefing because he thought he was better than the company was or something like that. And, I was just training and learning how to harness my craft. And then me and him got into it. And somehow me and him, it was a connection.
It was at Berwyn. It was at
Berwyn.
Berwyn when I revealed myself as your brother.
Yeah, Berwyn is a very magical place.
It was at Berwyn.
Yeah.
Almost as if the stars aligned to bring the Bros together with Bullard at CCW to return to their birthright. Speaking of birthrights, joining the show right now live via satellite on audio only is the one, the only Cactus Rack. Hello, Cactus.
Hello, what's my birthright?
Being on this show.
Oh, okay.
All right. That was a bit of a disappointment. My apologies.
Yeah, that was.
Okay. Moving on then. There, of course, is the flyer for CCW New Era coming May 21st at the Berwood Eagles Club.
Super excited for that.
I want to ask the next question to John. So, John, you have 1,000 wrestlers beating a path to your door to work on CCW. And you can't have everybody work, but you saw something in these two here. What makes CCW and the Breaux such a nice fit?
Well, we try to always have like the biggest tag division. I remember when my late partner, Christopher Martinez, when he was alive, tag team wrestling was his bread and butter. It was something that he loved. And we talked about it. And myself, when I was a wrestler back home in the South, it was mainly tag team wrestling. So for me, I always wanted to have a very diverse tag division. You always see, the same old guys, or in some wrestling companies, you see two wrestlers who have nothing in common get thrown in together. And I didn't want that. I wanted, guys who are real tag teams, guys who got matching gear, guys who actually do double team moves, not just one guy gets tagged in as another singles match. And we're real tag team wrestling. That's why we have, Youth Gone Wild. We have the Sin City Playboys, Bros. We have upcoming big Bull Bronson and Brian Richards of Brutality. We have an upcoming tag team called the Bruisers. There's all these different guys coming in, knocking on the door, wanting to come in. And I guess I could kind of lay it out on May 21st. It is a four corners tag war. It will be the Bros versus their arch nemesis, the Sin City Playboys, taking on Brutality's Bull Bronson and Brian Richards, taking on the debuting hard-hitting tag team, the Bruisers.
Yeah, we've been in the ring with those boys. They hit pretty hard. Yeah,
Shot it.
I worry about Brutality a little bit. What they did at the last show turned everybody's head, and the wild card, Davison Sarai, has been on this show, and all hell broke loose.
I mean, look at Bull Bronson. He's 6'5", 400 pounds. That's a monster of a man. That's not, hey, a chubby guy. It's like, no, that is a monster of a man coming at you. And Brian Richards' tag partner is no joke either. So, and let's not forget, you got Solomon Stone's technical wrestling ability and Tully Bertorelli's brute strength in hand too, and so that whole match is just a bunch of big meat slapping hell out of each other. It's the best way I can put it.
We're going to call it the meat slapper. It's the meat slapper tag match.
It's going to be one of those tag team matches that a bunch of big sized dudes just beat the hell out of each other.
And then there's Tad.
And then there's
Tad.
who might become,
if he turns sideways, you can't see him.
Exactly.
So how do you guys prepare for the unpredictable nature of a four corners tag war against some very impressive talent? I mean, you guys have got something to prove, and you've got a lot of gold, and I'm sure you want more. How do you get ready for a match like that?
Well, we tend to jump a lot of fences, running from certain individuals, and that's really good for cardio and stuff like that.
Having long parties, that's always a good one. Endurance.
We tend to hit a lot of brick walls, which hurts, but it makes us tougher.
Yeah. Toughest obstacle is a brick wall. That's why you got to beat yourself on it because it's gonna make you tougher.
Got it.
Red, is that what you guys used to do in Windy City? You run into brick
Hell to the no. No.
Red, what do you think of the Bros? I mean, I know you've seen them many times in many places. I'm always interested to see or hear what someone that has been doing this as long as you have, and obviously with all of your stables, you have a pretty good idea about tag team wrestling. What do you think of the Bros?
Money.
Think about money.
Money.
I mean, I think of green too, but not necessarily the money green.
No, dude, you have to understand this is a business first and foremost. So you have to look at, again, we work in a business where a lot of times everybody is cookie cutter. You know, everybody looks it's crazy. If you go into a locker room and look, the majority of the people, they all got the same color tights. I did a show 2 weeks ago. Everybody had black and red on. It was like, oh my God, can I not have my color for myself? Like, this is crazy. But everybody has, everybody looks the same. It's either the guy with the trunks or the guy with the long tights with the kick pads. Like, everybody looks the same. When the Breaux into the room, there is nobody that's like them. Nobody.
Appreciate that.
Not wrong.
They stand out. And for that makes you want to pay attention to them. They're one of those teams that I can say, they're unique and they're together. But in the irony, you never see one without the other. I have yet to see one without the other.
And oftentimes they drag a pineapple around by its leaves.
Yeah, that pineapple did now.
Treetop is just mildly bruised. He's okay.
He lost some juices. We have replenished those juices. Yeah. He will be fine.
We'll be okay.
The juices. I still love that entrance at IPW when Poison hits and then the pineapple comes out and then the bro. There's just nothing like that entrance. It's like reminds me of Jordan and the Bulls back in the 90s. It's just one of those entrances that something crazy is about to happen.
Oh yeah.
Love that pineapple.
That's our boy. Treetop.
Look at that pineapple. My God. That's a real thing, and that happens in wrestling, and you can't explain it, but there it is.
But let's go back to the first time that it wasn't just your first time, Steve. It was my first. Well, my first time was at IPW. And honestly, I was like, who the fuck are these dudes?
Yeah, that's right.
Who the fuck?
We need to call security to get security out of here. These guys.
No, see, you talking about security, dude. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing that? Like, really? Who the fuck is these guys?
Some goddamn yarders.
Then I watched them.
Yes.
I watched them interact with everybody. And so I will say again, they have enough respect. They came up, they introduced themselves. And I was like, okay, where is this going tonight? But then the more I was around them, the more I honestly started to fall in love with these two guys.
Hard not to love them.
It's hard not to cheer for the genuine real deal. Like when you see someone who's a genuine, like some guys have a gimmick, you look at it and go, all right, outside of this gimmick, they're the total fucking opposite of who they are. And then you actually meet someone who's really their gimmick, and it's like, that's them. That's just them being themselves.
No, but it's like, John, everybody got, I know it was 2 weeks ago or last week when Taker made his comment about gimmicks and people don't, protect the business as far as gimmicks go. They say, you see guys, in ring and they're a certain way and their characters a certain way. Then you turn around and you look at their social media page and it's something totally different, you know. These two are the same 24/7, 365. And I don't know how their family deals with them, but for me, like, I wouldn't have it any other way. I know. Here's one thing I do know. On Sunday, as much as I really wasn't feeling my whole self, you can't help but be around the Breaux and smile and maybe even crack a laugh. Um, Chad put his stuff on my bag, so I decided to bust his balls. And like, how dare you put your stuff on my bag? And immediately he started taking. And I said, "Bro, I'm just messing with you. I'm just joking." But he still kept pulling it off. Like, bro, I'm not an asshole. Get dressed, bro. You know, like, you know.
Damn vets. Damn vets throwing their weight around.
You damn right. You damn. But he looked up and he gave me like that puppy dog look with the glasses just barely over his eyes, and I'm like, bro, stop. It's okay, bro. Bro, okay.
It's the way we were trained, with respect, respect to your vets.
So
respect in general.
Yeah.
Respect. Don't be an asshole on the story.
True.
a lot of people didn't learn that lesson.
I'm going to give some kudos right now to Louis the Wrench and Shogun Chris Logan at Wrestle League. I haven't met one Wrestle League superstar that doesn't honor the business to the nth degree. And that doesn't happen everywhere.
No, we had actually a really big advantage too, also in having Quinn Whittick have a hand in training us also.
Fucking Quinn. I wish there were
sexy violence.
Hey,
that was me. That was me.
As long as he didn't do what he did to Kid Lat, we good. We good.
But I mean, he did teach me how to do a moonsault, so.
And we are all better off for that. Sometimes it's just in the entrance music. When music hits, you're supposed to feel a certain way. Obviously, when you watch TV wrestling, Real American. I came into it at my wedding. Jack and Meg came into Shinsuke, doing a violinist came and did Shinsuke's theme as they walked into their reception. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
But when this music hits, shit's about to go down because the champs arrive. So
we don't hear anything.
I think you didn't hear anything.
It seems like Steve's like bobbing his head. And we're like,
right, we just saw you doing this.
How is that? Wait a minute. Let me do that again.
Steve, you have like champagne dreams and like tab utensils here.
All right, moving on. So that was Poison, and that would have been cool, but it didn't work. So we're moving on. Cactus Rack is here, and if you love the Breaux with their tag team titles at various places and all the places they bring the noise, then you should come out to Homewood on a Saturday night and see what the Breaux do at Chicago Knockouts Roller Derby, because that's some good stuff. Cactus, talk a little bit about your experiences with the Breaux at Roller Derby.
So first of all, I just want to say that Cactus Rack is here. It was actually my first ever tagline. It was a rip off of there's a term in Whipsida Derby, and you hear it sometimes at Knockouts. Pack is here, which means that the pack is where they're supposed to be and haven't split. And so I changed it to Cactus Rack is here, and that's what I've used. So when you said that, I had that like immediate like, oh, I'm being called to the front.
Cactus Rack is here.
But
right.
No, I love the Breaux, and I can't imagine like them not with the Knockouts. So I I met them at Wrestle League when Andrew was training up at Hybrid. And I can't remember the first time we really interacted. It had to have been at like IPW or something, or maybe at a couple of the Wrestle League shows in Pilsen. But like the energy and that star quality is definitely there, but they're just such good dudes. Like there are very few wrestlers that I would let hang out with my kid, and these two are like two of the only ones. But just the way that they've jumped in wholeheartedly to the knockouts and let us mess with them and beat the crap out of them, and they help us. They've helped Marley hone her beating skills with her bat. So we're just really grateful to have.
It was probably a bad decision.
Low key, when I got hit like with that, I felt like a proud father, but like being turned on. It was like, yes, you did it.
Good picture right there.
I did, yeah.
That is a scared bro right there. That is a scared bro.
Like I love them both, but like Eric, you in particular with your like kung fu moves, like that's gonna stop us is probably my favorite.
You're a terrible older brother. You got let me get shot by one of them.
I listen. I had to run for my life. It's every man for themselves.
So
Well,
you
bro,
hide behind your little brother.
Talk about your experience at roller derby. What do you think? I mean, I think you guys are at your comedic best at roller derby.
We are just preventing these girls from killing each other.
You are preventing nothing.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
We attempt is the key word
try
here.
our best, man.
I'm there on commentary going, maybe you should get involved in that as they are beating each other senseless. And you guys are like, oh, there's a fight. It's like the reaction of all time.
I'd like to see you do better, man.
You want to switch roles?
Why don't you jump down from there and we'll talk to the crowd?
Listen, I've already been threatened by a fan. My time at roller derby might be ending. I don't think they like me there very much.
Steve, if you can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen.
That would be. Listen. I'm saying I'm not going to be there at the next bout, and I don't think I'll be all that missed, to be honest with you. Osho and Mouthpiece will have that on lock. I'm kind of extraneous at this point, but that's neither here nor there.
Shut up,
Bros. Tell us a little bit about how you see the knockouts. I mean, I'm always interested in the opinions of what people think about what's going on there at Homewood. And you guys are the best because you have to deal with the shenanigans more than anybody.
Oh, we love it. It's so much fun.
I came in knowing nothing about Derby and I'm still learning, but I immediately am like, okay, I respect the crap out of what's happening right here.
Sometimes they take harder bumps than we do. And I'm like, what?
Dude, like,
and they're on roller skates.
And oh my God, it's crazy.
And sometimes they get up to like 20 to 25 miles an hour. I mean,
I can feel my hair moving from when they go by. I'm like, God damn.
It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
How do you do it? So my head is up to y'all.
I've said in the past that I play much more safely than I used to, if you can believe that. And I had a death wish for the first couple of years that's
bullshit. I call bullshit right there. You want to punch and hit everybody, and every time somebody comes by you, you are throwing haymakers if you can. So I don't want to hear about I'm tamer than I used to be.
And to think that I used to be worse.
Impossible. You're the devil.
I used to throw myself down in front of the jammer so that they'd trip. That's how I separated my shoulders.
Oh, that's savage.
That's wild.
I can't imagine doing that on skates.
No.
Yep.
Gonna hit a drop down on skates at full speed.
That's a hard floor.
Multiple times in a bout. Yep.
Excuse me. No, that's wild.
That's crazy.
How?
I had a death wish.
I want to talk a little bit about the Homewood venue.
Such a cool place.
John, you've been to the Homewood venue. I mean, you ran a show there, the show with Dragon Gate and Wrestle League, and you've come back and you've done excellent commentary there. And being a promoter in charge of so many people and being involved with so many places and working so many places historically, what do you think about the HF Auditorium, aka the Knockout Dome, aka the Wrestle League Dome, whatever you want to call it?
Oh, it's a really nice venue. It's got kind of like an old timey feel to it, and you see some old wrestling venues back in the days where you had like the built-in bleachers and how it's set up. It's a really cool building. I remember the first time I ever saw it. I remember it's actually before Wrestle League ever got that building. Hot Rod Andy was trying to talk to me about it, and when I saw the photos of it, I was like, oh, that looks really spacious. And then when you finally actually walk into the building, you see how everything's set up, and you have the basements and everything else that goes around with the building. It's really cool. I rank it up there probably one of my favorite venues I've been around in the 20 some odd years of doing professional wrestling and sports in general. It's one of my favorite venues. I would say the McKinney Gym and McKinney, Kentucky. I like that building too, just because how the seats were so close to the ring. It had a real intimate feel to it. Then there was another venue called Jack Branch, Kentucky, which was a cockfighting arena. We did a show there at one time, and that was like fucking Bloodsport type vibe because it was the top of the middle of a mountain, hidden away from everywhere. So when people actually went to a show, like the only people who knew where that building was were the people who went to see cockfights too. So they go into this building with like,
chickens.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. Yeah, there was blood
Holy
all over the
Jesus.
floor. So, yeah, it was like blood all over the floor and everything too.
There's John, right? There's John in the HF Auditorium doing what John does best.
But yeah, that's the Homewood Auditorium's pretty awesome venue. It's one of my favorite ones so far in the Illinois, Indiana area. It's ranks up there in the top 5 to me. Absolutely.
Bros, what about you guys? I mean, you guys have done some magical things at the auditorium, wrestling, roller derby. You got that's it might end up being the place the Bros built at some point. Tell us your feelings about the auditorium.
At this point, that's pretty much home.
Yeah, it's home. It's got a cool ghoul hole, and the basement's haunted.
Hole. Yeah, it is. The basement is haunted, but we have like a secret private locker room that we found.
Yeah. But it has a ghoul hole in it, yeah. We call it the BBPA locker room, the Breaux Protection Agency. Yep.
Oh, that's amazing. Cactus, what about
I'd like to apologize for what's about to happen.
Long live the ghoul hole.
The bro hole?
The ghoul hole. You don't know nothing about it, Steve.
The ghoul hole. The ghoul hole is terrifying. We'll not go in the ghoul hole.
Andy knows.
Anyways, what were you going to say to me,
ghoul
Steve?
hole.
I had no idea Hot Rod Daddy Andy was going to take over the situation because he's messaging me on Messenger saying the Bros rule, which is true. Andy loves you guys. He's blown up social media about you.
We love fucking Andy.
We love Hot Rod.
We love Andy. Andy's the best.
Andy's a true villain.
A true villain? I don't know about a villain, John. I mean, what do you know that we don't?
I mean, he had no choice.
You see the shit he's been doing to Russell lately?
He had no choice.
Russell needs to stop saying that LeBron is better than Jordan.
I did that for Chicago.
But you don't even care about Chicago.
Listen, sometimes Russell does some questionable things, so I'll give Andy the benefit of the doubt.
But I'm not going to allow her to be on a podcast. But if you want to hear more about how haunted Homewood Flossmoor is, Hazel can tell you all of the ins and outs of the haunting.
When you told me that after I was like, man, this basement feels haunted, and you like verify it, I'm like, I knew it. I don't like being in the basement alone on show days when we're setting up. I refuse to go to the basement by myself.
So by basement, do you mean the dungeon?
Yes,
or
I mean the dungeon, not where the ghoul hole is. That's our private locker room.
That's a separate haunting.
That's a whole it's a separate haunting. Yeah, that's the ghoul hole somewhere we haven't discovered yet.
Personally, so
I'm glad y'all are down there as a whole, but I don't understand why y'all go down there. It's terrifying.
Down there, I feel safer.
Every time I'm down there, I feel like Christopher. I need to get the fuck out of here. Christopher, walking the fuck out.
Okay.
Walking the fuck out, indeed. I got to go down to the dungeon for the first time this past show, and I will never do that again because when you go down those steps, the temperature goes down about 35 degrees. So you're
because it's haunted.
Because it's haunted. And then watching the knockouts navigate those stairs on skates is one of the most chilling things ever. You are
mind-blowing.
Someone's going to die.
You guys make it look so easy. Every chance I get, I'm trying to offer a hand up because I know.
And they're just like, nah, we good.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, more power to y'all.
Sorry, my dog Rosie apparently has some things to say. I don't know if you can hear her Chewbacca-ing back here.
But
I can't hear Rosie. We couldn't hear Poison. Speakers all kinds of fucked up tonight, apparently. Apparently, Zoom is not the place to be. I'm going to talk to John when this is over and find out.
StreamYard's awesome, man. Yeah.
So Ash told me to try StreamYard, so we'll have to look into that because I was looking for a platform for the Roller Hocus Pocus podcast.
What I like about StreamYard is while you're talking, you could actually play a video.
Okay.
And you can actually like show like what's going on while you're talking over.
Okay.
DDJ, Dennis Day actually does all their podcasting on StreamYard. So I will definitely vouch on it. I like StreamYard. So hey StreamYard, by the way, if you need to give me a sponsorship, let's fucking do this.
Perhaps our Zoom days are numbered here on the Power Hour, but sometimes I'm a creature of habit. What can I say?
All right. Well, someone else is paying for StreamYard because I can barely afford Spreaker, just so we're clear.
I pay for everything. So, I pay for Zoom. I'll pay for StreamYard as well. We'll look into that. Don't worry, Cactus. I'm not going to come out.
I pay to host the podcast.
Nice. That's fantastic. Okay. It was a big weekend for IPW and the BONGRIPPER. BONGRIPPER, I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened. Kind of take me through it.
We ran a tag match because what was it, JFW, I think?
The JFW podcast. Red, do you listen
they were
to
the
JFW
host
podcast?
From time to time.
Oh yeah, we have to have some words about that, Steve.
We have some words about the JFW podcast. They
were
pretty nice to us this week.
About your little misinformation spewing last week.
My misinformation spewing?
Your misinformation. We'll talk about this later.
Oh, Jesus. Now I have heats with the knockouts. This is great. Okay, moving on.
That's not heat you want, brother.
No, I don't want the heat. I have a feeling I'm going to get it. I don't even know what I did. Damn it, Travis. Anyway, what do they think you do?
They decided it'd be, because the workhorses have been ruffling our feathers a little bit lately, and they decided, hey, let's give them the opportunity to get their hands on the workhorses. So we got our hands on the workhorses. It's going good until the tall blonde one
ran in, tried to hurt Treetop.
Yeah, he chased Treetop out of the bar area. And then
you're talking about the guy who looks like Jason Voorhees' mom?
Damn!
Are you talking about David who wrestles in sweatpants?
I mean, look at his face, man. He does it whole like, and then look at the picture of Jason Voorhees' mom before she gets like decapitated. Same person.
Yes.
Just saying.
Fantastic.
Shit.
Oh boy.
Jesus.
That's
I got no filter. Fuck.
That's not right.
Clearly, hey, on this show, none of us do.
So. No,
yeah.
What's the kid going to do to me? Fire me?
No, that's not
I'm gonna call HR on you, brother.
HR.
HR. But yeah, no. So he decided, chase down Treetop. So Treetop hid behind us. Yeah, the blonde one. The tall blonde one.
He hit Treetop.
Just the fact that that's actually a tag team is the most ridiculous thing ever in my life.
You got one that looks like Jason Voorhees' mom. The other one looks like the kid from Stranger Things. And then you got the other one who looks like a car salesman. So, I mean, the one looks like a car salesman, though, I get along really well with. He is a good kid. The other two, I don't know about.
The sad part is that whoever did that picture made them all the same height.
Yeah, that's true.
They're like the pegs trying to fit in the round hole. That's what they are. It's the greatest game of whack-a-mole ever. You could just want to.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, the workhorses. We could talk all day about them, but we won't. We absolutely won't.
So yeah, he slid in the ring and kicked me in the dick, and then punched him, and then got the treetop. Unfortunately,
poor treetop. Never heard. The kids love him, and he just takes so much abuse.
Right? And everyone loves treetop. Everyone.
Even Max Holiday beat up treetop, which I don't quite understand. But he didn't.
Some people don't even think he's real. Some people don't think he's even real.
Oh, he's real. We know he's real. We have seen him.
It's good to know that you see treetop because we see treetop.
The children see treetop. Red, you see treetop. Red doesn't see treetop. You're going to see him in a minute because oh, there he is. There is the treetop with Muggsy and a child. I do not believe the child is Muggsy's, but I guess.
I mean, it's tax season, so it could be.
We haven't. There's no paternity test to say that that's not true. It very well could be. But like I said,
you don't know how many members of the family there is and is not yet.
That is the youngest member of the family, apparently. Where's Charlie Jr.? We can get this out of the open right now.
Oh goodness!
But ain't nobody looking at that child's face. That's all I'm saying. Look at the child's expression. That don't look happy.
That's the beauty of the pineapple right there. Mesmerizing.
It looks curious.
It is shocked by how bright and yellow treetop is.
That kid is like, what the hell are you?
I think Muggsy is saying the same thing. Muggsy's like, am I drunk or stoned? But that's okay.
The bee.
So, Bros, you've got all kinds of gold. You have gone from zero to riches in this business in a very short period of time. And you've busted your ass to do it. And you're starting to go and branch out. I've seen you head up to Wisconsin. I mean, you're doing all kinds of stuff. Where do you see the Bros going? What is the end game for the Bros? What do you guys want to do?
Entertain people.
Have a good time. Have a party.
And yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to? Are you happy in just being the darlings of the Midwest, or do you aspire to something else?
Oh, we'll wrestle everywhere we can.
Yeah, I mean, I have dreams of wrestling in Canada and Mexico because I do have family up in Mexico, but it's the not touristy parts of Mexico, so I'm not welcome there. I'm a little too white.
So yeah,
aren't we all?
Yeah,
a little too white. Anyway,
I would love to visit Mont Del Rey and places like that. It's heard is very beautiful there. My end goal is to open a school one day.
Really?
Yeah, but that's not till years down the road.
I
want the whole goal for this is to get known enough to where when we do open a school, people can trust the students that are coming out of where we come.
Kind of paying it forward like Wrestle League is, because you can trust the Wrestle League talent for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Love Wrestle League.
It's funny you mentioned wanting to work in Canada, wanting to work in Mexico. It just so happens John Bullard is the architect of international travel. John, talk to us a little bit about what you've been up to the last calendar year. I mean, when you're not fighting for your life and fighting for this business.
Yeah, that's a loaded question there, Steve.
It is.
Well, yeah, I've been kind of busy, haven't I? Yeah. For a guy who should be like retiring and just staying home. Well, what part do you want me to talk about?
Well, they're talking about wanting to go to Canada and to go to Mexico. And we know about what you're doing, bringing everybody together and providing conduits of travel. Talk to us a little bit about the inroads you're making everywhere.
Well, I am the president of the World Organization of Independent Wrestling, governing body, working with promoters all the way from the United States to Canada, Mexico. We have our partners and over in Australia. That's part of it. We're also got partners in the United Kingdom. Actually, June 11th, we're holding one of our first big camps coming up, Michigan City. We got the legendary Sir Marty Jones, the man who trained William Regal. And the other one is the Master of a Thousand Holds, probably the most copied wrestler in the history of our business, and that is Johnny Saint.
There it is. There they all are. Look at them.
This is for the Canadians, And of course, we got Project Wrestling X. That's Magnum McLaren's promotional family out there in Hamilton, Ontario, Southbury, Ontario. And then we have, of course, Can-Am Wrestling, ran by Otto Jontel, that's out of Calgary. Of course, Otto and Ed, they wrestled for Stu Hart back in the 1980s. So they were trained dungeon style. They definitely, the thing I love about Canadian wrestlers, and Magnum McLaren's a prime example of this, they're tough. Canadian wrestlers are double tough. And I don't know if it's maybe the environment, how it's always cold in Canada quite often. They're more snug in the ring. They're not afraid to, get punched in the face. They're tough. The whole training process of them is something that I wish most Americans would have. But the Canadians that I deal with, they're awesome. I absolutely enjoy the partnerships with them. We're also working with another promoter out in Newfoundland, on the island out there in Canada. So we got a lot of really good things going. And this May 21st show is kind of actually a large gathering of some of the promoters. I mean, we have Alfredo Melis versus Paragon. Alfredo came from Puerto Rico, Spiritu Pro. The owner of Spiritu will actually be at our show. We also have Canadian representatives from the promotions there. Josh Crane versus Ewok. Josh Crane, of course, wrestled multiple tours in Japan for Big Japan Pro Wrestling. So we have, of course, the returning Law Estrella from Dragon Gate. He's going to be in a 6-man international tag that I'm about to probably announce either today or probably tomorrow. But that's going to include a couple of top stars out of Mexico making their debut as well. Project X title, that's going to be on the line. Magnum McLaren defends against Ring of Honor's own Trick Davis. We have Ari Akuma, who, in my opinion, is probably the most slept-on wrestler in Chicago. Ari is a mat wizard all the way through. Sean Phoenix is awesome to watch if you're into like the high flyers. He definitely brings it. He's also a fire breather, which is really wild. We got Mikko Maestro from Finland. He's from Smash Wrestling out of Finland. He's making his Midwest American debut. And of course, there's my one of my wrestling sons, Kid Lat, who's I've taken to him like a duck to water. Every time I see that kid, he hugs me like 5 times. In every show, he just walks up and hugs me randomly all the time. I absolutely love that kid.
Does it to us too.
I love Kid Lat.
He's got such a bright future ahead of him. I tell him this all the time. I was like, you don't know how talented you really are. I remember when he came to also help administrate a Lucha Libre practice. And of course, Kid Lat took the Lucha Libre right off the bat. And of course, he had the blessing of learning from Atomico Sr. and also one of the Mexico's greatest wrestlers of all time, Skyday. And Skyday is probably like the Dean Malenko of Mexico, like the greatest scientific wrestler that ever walked, in my opinion. And when Kid Lat finishes practice, Skyday in Spanish asked Kid Lat, "How old are you?" And Kid Lat told him he was like, "I'm only like 17." And Skyday was instantly like, "Oh, like damn, you're already good. He's like, yeah, how long you been doing this? Oh, since I was 15. And Scotty looked at me and started speaking to me in Spanish. And literally what he said to me in Spanish was, keep bringing him to practice here. He's going to be a great luchador. Give him time. American wrestling, cool. Lucha Libre, that's his calling. And you see it in Kid Lat's wrestling, man. He's picked up to the Mexican style really well.
Absolutely.
We love Kid Lat here. Kid Lat will be on the Power Hour in the coming months. So, if you want to hear about Kid Lat, that will be coming on this show. The Bros. So here you are, and we've talked about where you've been, where you want to go. Who is responsible for making you as good as you are? I hear Red talk about, the experiences he had at Windy City, and we've listened to him on this show talk about his experiences there might have saved his life, and that's powerful stuff. John Bullard has also talked about his beginnings and where he's come from in wrestling. I want to know who brought you to the dance and who's responsible for getting you where you're at.
Probably Louis the Wrench, Quinn Whittick, and Shogun Chris Logan are the three biggest trainers we've had.
A lot of love to Russell for giving us rides to 90% of our friggin' shows.
Yeah, Russell, we big leagues are coming.
We roll with Russell to like most of our shows.
And then honestly, we got Motivation Mike, who we also ride with, and he's been a big help with us, getting us there. And there's so many people to thank.
Pretty much everyone we've met in the entirety of the time in the wrestling business.
Right.
Because we try to learn something every time we talk to anybody in the entire business.
Mm-hmm. All the vets that have just told us stories and we've just listened. Bullard fucking has given us so many opportunities.
You guys earned it, man. I didn't give it to you. You guys earned your opportunities.
No doubt.
Thank you.
What have you learned from Red? Have you learned anything from C Red? Because C Red's quite the teacher.
Oh, we've learned so much from Uncle Red here. He's
Uncle Red.
The entertainment aspect of it, just watching him work a crowd.
I think we've learned a good bit from everyone that's in this room right here.
That is impressive. I love that. Now, this is the point in the show where I like to let Red give the roses. Now, Red sometimes gives really bright, brilliant roses. Sometimes his roses are subtle. I'll be interested to see what the roses look like for the Bros. Red, take the pick out your mouth.
Why?
Show the Bros some love.
He showed us love in the beginning.
He's going to show you real love now. This is Red love. It's different.
Bro. Again, so they are the epitome of don't judge a book by its cover. These two men have shown they have what it takes and they deserve to be in this business. I don't even know if they knew. I sat in the crowd just to watch their match Sunday.
Oh, really?
A lot of times, we see people, you just don't feel it. I wanted to feel what the crowd was feeling. And to sit there amongst the fans, behind the fans, I should say, and see how much love they had for the Breaux. The energy and the way they connect with the fans. I love the song just as much. Well, if you were from the 80s, you love the song. So it just made me feel good. Each time they wrestle, they get better. A couple of months ago, I had an opportunity to be in the ring with the Breaux, against the Breaux, I should say. And that was the night my shoulder went completely out of whack. And Tad, like, had this look of such concern on his face during the match. And then right after, when I got hauled to the back with a limp arm, they were right there, like, not in character, not, you could tell it was the genuine thing. Those are the type of people I find I have so much respect for. Because, they could have just asked somebody else. They could have asked Miles or Steele, hey, he okay? All right. Went about their business. They didn't. Like, they wanted to make sure. When one of you got me ice, I think it was Tad.
Probably, yeah.
Tried to get the bag of ice.
Yeah.
They can't remember what they had for lunch.
I know, but it doesn't matter. They have what it takes. They've already taken Chicago by the horns. Now it's just a matter of showing the world who the Breaux are. And I think once the world sees the Breaux, everybody's going to want to have some of that infectious bro love each and every time they can. So you two don't change. I put it like this. If you run into people and they tell you, hey man, you should change who you are, don't. You guys, like I stated earlier, everybody now is cookie cutter. Everybody tries to look the same. Everybody tries to do the same moves. Everybody. Earlier we talked about, TV wrestling, AEW, WWE. And you guys said you don't watch much of it. And that's good. Because, again, everybody else is watching it and what they're doing. They're trying to pull off what they saw on TV. Oh, I can do it. You guys stick to what you know. Keep growing your repertoire. Again, and don't change. Because I want to see the Breaux as the Breaux. We give you a lot of shit over the Jay and Silent Bob thing. Yeah, those damn cookie cutters. We give you a lot of crap over Jay and Silent Bob. Much love to,
I love that shit.
Much love to Kevin Smith. But at the end of the day, Chad and Tad have to be themselves. And, no, we don't really, Cheech and Chong, and, I see them more as Blunt Man and Chronic. Even though
I
it's
like the Bill and Ted reference myself. I think that's pretty good.
But just the way that they do them, and they do it so well now, and they're getting better. I hate to hear that the costumes are retiring. Because hey, that Nightmare on
Chicago Street. Yeah.
That was it. That was it for me. Again, I just stood there and watched you two work the whole crowd, and I'm glad most of the crowd understood who you guys were. Sad that some people have never seen a Kevin Smith film.
I hope that everybody understands when Red and I come out as Dante and Randall at some point.
Yo, that'd be dope.
I'm gonna pop.
I'd pop hard, yeah.
Now I'm already there.
Hey, there's Bill and Ted. They're the Breaux from 1988.
Yeah, on a call, brother.
That's uncanny. That's not bad right there. I'd like to see that.
That's not bad, actually. Yeah. Holy shit.
Next year's Halloween costume.
Party on, bro and bro.
Oh, cool. We get to wrestle in street clothes.
Yeah.
They're like, why is that a costume? That's what I wore yesterday.
Minus the pumps.
Minus the pumps, indeed. So we've heard from John Bullard about the Breaux from a promoter. We've heard about the Breaux, and indeed, be excellent to each other. I think that's good advice. We've heard about the Breaux from someone like C. Red, who has been in this business and seen and done it all. Now I would like to hear a little bit about the Breaux. I'd like to see Cactus or hear Cactus give some roses of her own, because I know she has a special place in her heart for the Breaux.
I just did that.
But you did, it was a very abridged version. I just want to hear, how important they are to you.
Okay.
Or
I can only do so much emotion in one day, Steve.
I need more emotion.
The Breaux know how much I care about them. The Breaux know that I love them.
I mean, you waited an hour and 45 minutes for Russell last week. They are at least punctual.
Yeah. The Breaux are my bros. Okay. I am constantly impressed by their comedic timing. As you know, I have an eye for that kind of thing, and they always do exactly what I'm in my head like they should do. They always do it. God damn it.
If we run an idea past someone...
Apparently, Bruce had something to say as well.
I heard him that time.
Here's my dog giving you flowers.
I heard the flowers that time from the dog.
Some extra belly rubs.
I can't talk over my dog right now. Hold on.
That is very Scooby-Doo-esque. Okay.
Yeah, that's Bruce. No, I love you guys, and I love the energy every time you come out. It's truly infectious, and it wins over every crowd every time. And I cannot wait to see where you guys go. I want to hear more about the school plan, because I have some plans of my own. And I also can't wait to see you guys get your butts kicked by the Minors League coming up in June. So,
yeah. That's right. I forgot.
Oh, God.
That. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
The young roller derby trainees.
The adults were bad. These are going to be like little hellions.
Hazel's going to get you.
I know.
Going to get you.
Lunala. Her name is Lunala.
Lunella is going to get you.
Lunala.
I know
Lunala.
We're definitely doomed. That sounded like a dope and like MMO character.
That's a character that's gonna
we're gonna die.
Keep your eye out for paws out, claws out. That's Disorderly Conduct's kid, and she is taking the legacy and running with it.
It's so cool. Next generation roller derby. We had one at the last bout with La Brujita following in La Bruja's footsteps, which was pretty cool. So I love the fact that it's generational, just like wrestling. Roller derby, I've said it before, if you've missed out on it so far, get there and see it, for Christ's sake. It's really entertaining stuff.
It is. It's very fun.
Top notch.
Hey, Rion, are you there? Rion Skills, the real deal.
Rion, we love you.
What do you need, man? What do you need?
I would just like to hear what you have to say about the Breaux. Now, I know you've become our visual production designer, but I'd kind of like to hear from an information liaison, a referee, a man that wears all the hats, what you think.
We're awful and we should get out of business. No, I'm kidding.
Are you calling a timeout?
That guy. That guy's awesome.
Are you calling a timeout?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
I'm recognizing your timeout on this end.
I don't think I need to say anything. You guys have said more than enough. Just let me do my thing, sir.
Okay.
Let me be the Wiz from afar. I mean, I get it. I get that you want everybody's opinion. But you have John Bullard sitting there, and I know he has a bunch of information that he wants to get out. The Breaux are all over the Midwest, or they will be if they haven't already made their mark. You have a bunch of stuff that you could go ahead and talk. You don't need to hear my thoughts on this. Let me do this thing over here. They know how I feel about them. Like, I get it, but it's good. Just let the guests speak. Let them speak.
We are just going to ease on down the road then.
That's
John Bullard, he called you out. You've got a lot to say.
No, usually.
I hope you knew that you had a lot to say.
So we've talked about the Breaux, and we love the Breaux, and the Breaux will continue to do bro things, which is fantastic. As far as John goes, I mean, we've watched John. I remember meeting John back in the day at in a small closet in Dalton, Illinois. Was the first time I met John Bullard, and John Bullard had a full head of hair and was a bit of a ruffian, if you will, in those days. And then he transitions to arguably one of the most accomplished promoters, and what he has done putting together just a buffet of wrestling uniting. What about bringing promotions together to work for the common good? Why was that so important to you?
Oh, Steve, I grew up in the South. So growing up in the South, the NWA was the way of life. Like for a lot of people, a lot of guys grew up watching WWE or WWF, as me and C-Red would say from back in the days. But growing up in the South, WWF wasn't our thing. We hated the wrestling in New York. So to me, it was always the stuff you seen from Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Texas. Wrestling was gritty. It was tough. It felt real, and of course it was one of those things that, I cut my teeth on as a child. So for myself, working together for the common good, and the thing is, I was a promoter before you guys met me. I was a promoter way back in 2011, 2012. And I was always a firm believer that wrestling benefits the most for everyone when group of promoters would work together to give talents a little travel loop. You have a guy who runs a show 2 hours one way on a Friday, then you have another guy across another state does something on a Saturday, and then you have someone does a Sunday night. And that makes the world of professional wrestling interesting because everyone is working together, and you create a place for talent to have travel arrangements. Say if you bring in a star wrestler can wrestle for 3 companies in one weekend, and of course you're not so next to each other, not right up on each other. Everyone has breathing space. When I started with Otto Jontel creating the WOIW, the whole thing about that wasn't about this local promotion 5 miles away from the other local promotion. I didn't want that. I wanted this promoter in this one state represents us. Then we have another promoter in another state that represents us. We just picked up Grizzly Pro out of Detroit, Michigan. They joined on board. Of course, we have a bunch of other partners that are working with us as well in different states. Of course, you see Summit City Championship Wrestling. That's going to be the newest promotion I'm running under the John Bullard Promotions banner out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I'll be running shows all the way from Fort Wayne all the way to Chicago. Lucha Mask USA, of course, is a brother company working with our good friends at All Star Lucha Libre in Breaux, Illinois. All Star is a great company ran by the Atomico family. Wonderful people. I highly, highly suggest anybody who wants to go see Lucha Libre, go see their shows. And Summit City is actually going to be interesting because myself and one of my business partners, Kazuhiro Suzuki from Japan, he's from Takaoka. Japan, out of the prefecture out there. Me and him's actually have done business together before. Kazuhiro, we worked actually together at my last job, or the company I worked with. I have an NDA clause. I can't really go into detail about that job title and the things that we had to do. But he was a huge wrestling fan. Of course, Fort Wayne, Indiana's sister city is Takaoka. So when he came to visit me and have dinner, first thing came out was, there's no really full-time wrestling promotion in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So we decided we're going to give Fort Wayne a home promotion, not one of those once in a while shows or every year here's an annual event by a group of older guys that should have retired years ago. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there's a guy who runs out there right now that is damn near pushing 70 some odd years old, still trying to wrestle guys in a ring. But Summit City is to give back to the Fort Wayne wrestling community, working with great talent from Ohio, the Fort Wayne region, Detroit, Indianapolis, of course, the Jake Owens Wrestling Academy. So we've got a whole lot of great talent from that part of the woods working there. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it uniquely regional for itself, and where Chicagoland's going to be kind of a little bit more of an international hub, but Summit City's going to have just a little bit of that, but also showcase the talent that hasn't been properly given a platform.
Wow. Just the interconnections and the interminglings and the fact that people will travel from place to place safely and won't have to deal with the shenanigans that can sometimes be out there in this business is such a cut above everything else. Red, back when you were doing your thing with Windy City, it was not smiled upon to work elsewhere. So something such as this would not have existed then. Do you think, as a younger wrestler, you would have benefited from what John Bullard Promotions and everybody that's working together is trying to do?
One, yes. Two, I broke the mold. Again, it was frowned upon to go work elsewhere if you didn't have the Godfather's blessing. I don't think he saw me as a threat, as some big talent. So he gave his blessings for me to go do a show. I forget where it was, but once I got hooked by another crowd, once I got hooked at my merchandise, all of that came back to me. There was no turning back. So this is a good thing, and I totally me and John talked numerous of times. And again, that's what he's doing, should be commended. People don't grasp the concept that, and I've spoke about this before, of doing a show in Wisconsin and hearing the ring announcer, and I just said this over the weekend to people, that it blows my mind to hear the ring announcer start advertising like two to three other companies' shows the following weekends. And I had to ask somebody, why? Because we don't do it here. And then matter of fact, it was Backwoods that told me. He said, dude, think about it. He said, we got 300 people. He said, we tell them about the show next weekend. That's at least what? Just say 100. Just say 100 people from tonight go to that show next weekend, plus their crowd.
Right.
Like, it's a snowball effect. All the fans are the one that benefit. The workers benefit because guess what? Some of them, hey, if I ain't on this one, I'm gonna be on the one 2 weeks from now. Like, dude, it's a love fest, dude. And everybody, it's a win-win situation.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Chicago, I don't know what happened, but what John is doing is a beautiful thing because again, like he said, it could be if somebody's got a show on a Friday night, hey, okay, we could do that. Oh, okay, now we're in Detroit on a Sunday. Hey, all right. And then we got to get back to CCW on Sunday. All right, so we make that drive back and get that. Like it's a beautiful thing. And you get to work 3 to 4 different crowds. So what might not work on a Friday night might be super extreme and go crazy over on Saturday. I mean, it just works. There's benefits to it. So John already knows I have commended him. And I told him, and I'll say it again. I'm proud to say it here. I'm proud of what he is doing. He has changed the landscape of Chicago wrestling.
For the better.
For the better, of course, for the better. But the crazy part is, John had all this experience, and like you said, when we first met him, totally different guy,
so we thought.
He went in the ring, and I thought he was about to stretch the kid.
I did just a little bit, but you had to learn how to sell it. I mean,
hey, I wasn't gonna complain. I just know we was all at that little peephole, like.
That was the smallest peephole in history. God, Dalton was very, very small.
But think about it. Then he said he wasn't gonna wrestle anymore. It was like, okay. He said he was gonna start his own promotion, and me and him had this conversation, and I'm like, okay, because how many people have you talk to people? Yeah, I think I'm gonna start my own company. Huh? Okay.
I think it takes a special kind of person to be able to organize and run something that has that many working parts.
No, you first of all, you said the keyword organize. And John Bullard is totally organized.
Totally.
John knows. He crossed all the T's and dots all the I's.
I want to give some praise on this. Thank you for the organizing. Moneymaker Michael Allen. Outside of Red, Michael Allen's my other right hand. Allen is, to me, the most hidden gem in professional wrestling.
No question.
Michael Allen does not get enough credit.
Roses for Mike.
How smart he is, and how actually creative Michael is. I think a lot of folks see him as this big, tall, lanky guy who's very goofy and funny, because he is. He should be a stand-up comic at times. But he's also Booker smart. And he knows how to put a show together. He knows how to do TV formatting. Michael is like, if I'm the baked potato with the servings on it, then Michael is the T-bone steak. That's the best way to put it. Like, I love Michael Allen. If there's one person, the day that I can't run no more, the day I do decide it's time for me to retire or to step back from being a promoter, and I had to give my company to someone to run it. Even though he probably won't because he's too humble of a guy. But I would have no problem giving the reins over to Michael Allen. Because Michael would do business right. Michael is one of the handful of people I trust with my life. To the point the guy's in my world. And doesn't even know. Until now.
Until now. Wow, breaking news. Michael Allen, congratulations.
There's only a handful of people that I want to leave things behind too. Michael's one of them. Red's another one. But there's people in this business that you meet that are truly genuine. Michael is one of the most genuine souls anyone could ever encounter. I don't think that guy has a bad bone in his body. I remember there's times, and I'm a Buddhist, there's times where I've learned to channel my anger, not to let it get the best of me. And a lot of times, Michael's the guy who talks me off that ledge. Before I would post something or say something, I'll go to Michael and say, "What do you think about this?" Michael always tells me, he's like, take a deep breath and think about this. And yeah, like I hope when he hears this, I hope this is the part he hears. Dude deserves it. He's one of the good ones. There ain't many of them left. There ain't many guys truly in this business are good people. I've been lucky. I've came across guys like Red, guys like you, Steve. The Breaux are genuine people. Michael Allen's a genuine person. There's a handful of true genuine people. People that don't call you up and do the brother talk, but they genuinely give a damn about you. You guys are a special class amongst yourself, and I'm grateful for it.
Well, that was very nice. I'm sure Michael will hear this. I will certainly tell him that there were nice things said. It's great when guys like the Breaux come on and hear their story, and guys like John come and tell their story, and we just have a nice community and we can talk about all this stuff. So that's the whole reason Red and I decided to do this years ago, was to bring together everybody so we could all talk about our experiences. And we got that from Rion and Max. They talked about their experiences at various shows. We just changed it ever so slightly. So it's a great community to be a part of.
And I want to say something. When I first started running my very first promotion back in Kentucky, I started Pro Wrestling Freedom. It's 2012, October 2012. Funny how October has been kind of a unique thing in my life, because that's also when Chicagoland started. 2012 to 2014, we changed the landscape of the state of Kentucky. And back before I ran, when I was wrestling downstate, a lot of it was the Old Boy Network, and a lot of the promotions were either a wrestler ran promotion where the wrestler put themselves over, or it was families, like generational families, would run the same promotion where the grandfather would give it to the son gives it to his kid, and they would always put themselves over. There's always the family on top of everyone. Young guys were never given a fair chance. So when I started Pro Wrestling Freedom, the thing that dawned on me was we got to change the landscape. First thing first, we're not going to book all the same old guys that's seen over in this place. We booked the best wrestlers in the southeastern United States. Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, like you name it, we brought them out of the St. Louis, Missouri area. And a lot of guys who started with me became famous. I gave Alex Zane, who is now in New Japan Pro Wrestling, he went on to WWF or WWE, and he went on. He started with me. I found him when he was wrestling in the backyard. Shane Mercer, who's been eating people everywhere, featured on Sports Illustrated. I gave him one of his first big breaks. Mary Dobson, who's now in Monday Night Raw. I was one of the first people to give her a women's match to wrestle, and I'm proud of that because I get to watch a lot of these young people now doing what they're doing now, and they're getting their name out, and it made me happy to see that. 2014, I decided to take a break away from the world, and I retired. I left wrestling, and here's the wildest thing: I was never planning to come back to wrestling, never. When 2014 hit, I didn't. When I left, when I moved to Illinois. This shows you how crazy this was. None of my coworkers and none of the people who come to the house did not know I was in professional wrestling. I never talked to them about it. I just separated from my own personal life. It's weird because I love this business, but for some reason I was distant from it. If it wasn't for Christopher Martinez, one of my friend Tony Myers said, "Hey, this guy named Gravestone, he wants to be a referee. Can you give him some advice? I was like, yeah, sure. We became good friends. Next thing I know, just like the mafia, man. You think you're done with it. You think you're out of that lifestyle, and next thing you know, you get pulled back in. And it wasn't for Chris, I would not be here with you guys today. That's the power of one person. I hope I'm not sounding like a rambling lunatic when I talk about this stuff, but it's the power of one person can change the entire course of everyone else around them. One guy who begged me for months to go back into business. And I told him every time, nah, I'll give you advice. I ain't coming back. Sure enough, League of Wrestlers happened. Chris said, hey, Breon Skills got you a ref jersey. Now I was like, don't want to come back. Next thing I know, Chris kept on asking for it. All right, Chris, just for you. So sure enough, I went there. Wasn't for Chris, never met Rion. If it wasn't for Chris, I would never met C-Rat. Wasn't for Chris, I would never met you, Steve. I would have met BONGRIPPER or none of you guys. So I look back at that 2017, 2018, came back. I only was planning to do this for one night only. I told that to Chris. I said, Chris, I don't plan to come back. I said, I want to do this one night, referee, get out of my system, go back home. Be that old cowboy, right off in the sunset, fade away. Well, yeah, that backfired on me.
Yeah, you became the sheriff.
Jesus Christ. No, wasn't expecting. Here's the thing, man. I was not planning that. I had no intention of ever running again. But when I started seeing all the other promotions in the Chicago area, I started noticing how, once again, like a lot of guys want to get fair shakes. Maybe I'm going to probably get some heat for this. But the main problem I've had with Chicago wrestling in general, a lot of times it's a lot of promotions ran by a bunch of their buddies, and they're only putting certain guys over, usually themselves. And a lot of good young talent are not being showcased properly. A lot of the good young talent that you need to be building up. The problem with a lot of these promotions, they're wanting to constantly take the guy who's going to be retiring in a year or two and beat every one of the young guys. It needs to be fucking different. It needs to be the old guard teaching the young guys how to be the next generation star. But they should also be doing their best to try and help put them over. So when they do leave, they're leaving the business in good hands. They're leaving the business in the hands of someone who now has 10 to 20 years on them to go do what's best, do it the proper way, do it the right way, and help lead the wrestling scene for what it is. A lot of guys don't want to do that. The whole Chicagoland thing, me and Chris formed that up. It was literally about giving young wrestlers a chance. It was about having the elders mentor, teach, guide, but help the young guys get to the dance, get guys ready for television, get guys and girls ready to travel the world, and they know how to wrestle different styles. The reason why I've been doing all these seminars, I brought in Skyday from Mexico, or I'm bringing in Johnny Saint and Marty Jones from England, and then I've also got a Japanese seminar being planned pretty soon. It's not to toot our own horn and say this is what we are. It's for every one of our students, every one of the wrestlers from Wrestle League and the Lucha group that I'm partners with. I want them to have that experience. So when they do get the privilege of traveling, they have that knowledge, they have that connection where they need to go. And it's to give them the foundation of being not just a good American wrestler, but a universal wrestler, someone who can wrestle on opposite side of the body, someone who knows how to chain wrestle and not do the same chain that everyone thinks is chain wrestling, but actually really wrestle on the mat and go. That's why that British wrestling is so important. That's why Lucha Libre is actually important. A lot of guys overlook the importance of Lucha. Like, holy shit. I think I love that Motivation Mike went to a Skyday's camp. And after like the first drill, he looked right at me and he was like, dude, this is the most intricate stuff I've ever learned. Like, and it wasn't like flying around the ring either. It was like mat-based wrestling. It was like, this is really advanced stuff. I was like, yeah, that's Lucha Libre, man. People sleep on that technical side of it. But it was everything I've been doing isn't about tooting my own horn. I don't know if I will ever win a Promoter of the Year award. I'll probably never get my roses until I'm dead. But the thing is, I'm not doing it for those reasons. Everything I'm doing is to give back. My time in the sun as a wrestler is done. I can't wrestle no more. My heart's at 30% ratio rate. I'm lucky to be talking and walking half the time, but I can't wrestle. Andy, Hot Rod Andy asked me this at Crash Tested when I was ring announcing. He said, "Do you ever get in the ring ever again and roll around and do stuff?" And I told him I can't. There's times I'm at these seminars mentoring kids, watching over these young kids when the teacher is explaining things to them and they need someone to partner with. I go on my way to work with them. But man, it kills me not to be in the ring. It kills me not to get the chance to roll with Sky Day. It kills me that I'll never get the chance to roll around with Johnny Saint and Marty Jones. But I can live vicariously through all these kids getting the chance to learn and be with these great mentors. So, no, this is where a lot of guys want their accolades and praise or be called godfathers or kingpins and all this stuff. And then some, and don't get me wrong, Sam DeCiro earned his right to be the godfather of Chicago wrestling. But for myself, I just want to plant the seeds for everyone to grow. That's all I want. Positive growth.
And you have gotten that, and a lot of us here are the beneficiaries of what you're trying to do. And the way you were talking about it, you were basically, talking about the calling card of what Wrestle League does, and that's where the Breaux come from. I'm curious, Breaux, as you're listening to John talk, what are you thinking in your minds? And if you tell me you're looking for the Doritos, I will kill you both.
Yeah, I'm looking for the munchies. No, I'm kidding. No, what he's doing is amazing for this business. Just like we've heard so many horror stories, and we still have yet to come across that. We've
gotten lucky. Like the horror stories we've heard, it seems like the business has gotten better over the course of the last handful of years because people we trained with are telling us horror stories, and we're still not have yet to have a problem with any single person in any locker room.
Yeah. I mean, all the locker rooms we've always come into, everyone's been super nice. Everyone's been chill.
I mean, that's at least in the Midwest. We haven't gone much farther than that.
That's just from the locker rooms we've been in. I don't know anywhere else, really.
I mean, I even went on my way to warn you guys about a shady promoter.
Oh, yeah, no, we went to that. We were going to go to that one to protect all of the people that were going there.
I decided we should go just to back our homies up.
And it wasn't just the Wrestle League guys either. It was the Chicagoland family, too, that was working there.
We said, we're ready to fight, yo.
Yeah, I was excited to steal ring parts. Like, I want to build a ring from stolen parts because some boy didn't pay me or some try to fuck me over.
Let's roll through and back up the boys.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That might be the greatest answer of the night right there. We want to steal wrestling ring parts to build our own Frankenstein ring. That's fantastic. Bros, you guys are rolling right now. Are there people that you'd like to fight? Like if you could have your pick of people that are out there in the world that are wrestling that you've seen, are there people you want to fight that, I'm just interested to see where you want to go. You've fought so many great people.
We've had a handful of good matches with a bunch of good talent. I know a couple tag teams that are high on my wanting to do list. One of them being the Bruisers finally, and we'll get to that chance at Chicagoland in May. Another one's of the Brothers of Funstruction.
That's all. That's POW. That's the big POW product. Is
that okay?
At least I mean, Red. They work a bunch of places, right? Or is they mostly POW?
They work a bunch of places.
I'll say we first saw them up in JWA in Janesville, and they were working Flight Club. That was a top match for us watching.
That's one of my top 10 favorite matches.
Watching Flight Club versus the Brothers of Funstruction, the clown gimmick.
Two actual clowns doing actual clown spots, and I'm losing my shit.
Oh man, it was fantastic. I'm like, dude, they did the popcorn. Oh, it was grade A.
They did give me the handkerchief to choke him with. Out comes the whole line of handkerchiefs from his sleeves. Like, This is beautiful. This is the most amazing thing ever.
The Bros versus the Brothers of Funstruction could be the most entertaining match, and that would be one hell of a tag match. Man, really good choices. Any more?
One we'll never actually, unfortunately, get to see because the circumstances was the Briscoes.
Yep, Briscoes were actually one of the tag teams that kind of made us go, "Yo, we should try wrestling." I think we could try this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were one of the tag teams that I was like, "Yo, these guys are freaking dope."
Yeah, and that's one. Russell and Motivation Mike would be a fun one.
Russell and Motivation Mike would be a fun team to fight.
Yeah. I'm booking the show where it's Russell, Motivation Mike, and you two, and I'm just going to have you talk shit for an hour.
Only if I get to be the special guest referee and we fight for Russell's soul.
Bro,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Andrew wants it to be for custody of Treetop.
Oh, okay. That's
hold on a second.
Hold on.
No, hold on. No. We can't risk Treetop.
No.
We could put Treetop versus the Russell Shuffle. If you win, you get Treetop and he stops doing the dance. I mean, you could save us all from oblivion.
I mean, we would just take the dance though. It's a good dance.
God.
So is the safety dance.
The safety dance is a good one too.
Are you guys gonna copy the safety dance and call it the bro dance and
no
the bro dance versus the Russell Shuffle?
No,
we already have a few dances.
Yeah, we got a few dances. We got the summoning of the mothership.
Red is safety dancing for those of you at home. I never thought I would see Red do the safety dance from the the 80s, but here we are on this show. Red's safety dancing, and Russell's not here to Russell Shuffle. So
thank God.
I was watching the music video for that the safety dance, and I swear I popped so hard when the little fucking dude that they had just busted his shit, and they kept that in there. He just running through the field, bam, they just busted his face, and they just kept it in the video. That's
they sure did. God, the 80s were great. And the 80s give us the Bros, and they give us Hot Rod Daddy Andy, because without the 80s, I don't know if you guys would be quite as cool as you are.
No, you're not wrong.
Not
you
wrong.
Take a lot from 80s comedy movies.
80s wrestling. We got very excited one time we were watching what was it, the Rock and Roll Express, or no, it was the New Rockers and Michaels and Jannetty, and the entire match they just worked a headlock, and it was beautiful.
Hell yeah,
it was so beautiful. It was just headlock, nothing but headlock.
Yo, you got Russell on the screen. Fun fact about Russell, he just released a track called The Russell Shuffle. We gave him the idea for that song.
So it's a collaboration between Russell Alltime and the Bros. So the video for the Russell Shuffle song should feature the Bros.
It should. You're not wrong.
Not wrong.
We'll have to get on Russell. Russell, after his embarrassment at the last show, begged me to come back on the Power Hour. He says, he feels like he got misrepresented because he was late. So we're thinking about maybe giving him another shot. Maybe we'll have you guest star, and you guys can get your pound of flesh for the creative control of the Russell Shuffle.
Oh.
I will say though, coming back as a ring announcer, which is something I've been enjoying tremendously. It is actually on my ring announcing bucket list to ring announce the Bros and Treetop.
I feel so bad for someone when the ring announcers be like, "Hey, so what's your stuff?" And we just have this laundry list of in a van down by the river, allegedly 420 pounds together. I'm the king of bong style. He's the man of 1,000 bowls, together with the masters of joint manipulation.
Maybe throw 6 different things on there just for fun.
Yeah.
There's just something about when you guys come in. It's just magic.
Yeah, see, I'm looking forward to the literally big fight announcing that all along. The whole, ladies and gentlemen, they come down by the van, down by the river.
There we go.
400 pounds. The king of bong style, master of 1,000 bowls. Get that going. That's going to be fun.
Oh, thank you for naming our finish. By the way,
yes, thank you. We couldn't. We were deciding.
We
what to
couldn't
name
think
it.
of a name, and then on the video we hear you call it the Bong Ripper, and we're like, all right, that's gotta be it now.
That's it now.
You know, what's so funny is like when a lot of times when I'm on commentary with like guys like Steve and Triple D and all those, a lot of times I just call shit on the fly. I see something like, don't know the name of it, but yeah, you know what? They're potheads. Oh, Bong Ripper. You know,
It
so
was
boom.
beautiful.
It works.
It works so well.
It's on brand.
Also, it's being a big doom metalhead too. Like that's yeah, kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny when people look at me that they would never think I'm into psychedelic like doom metal, but yeah, heavy, pretty heavy.
Wow.
All right, so this has been one of those shows that I will remember fondly for a long time. A lot of information was put out here on this show, from the Bong Ripper to the amalgamation of Canada and other places. Bros, where can the kids catch you, not only on social media, but where are you fighting in the future?
When's our next place to fight at?
The next show we have is the Derby show, which is April 15th.
The Haunters and the Punk Rock Punishers.
And we're gonna try to do Deathlocks in honor of both being corpses and punk rock for the Misfits.
It's a neutral costume.
It is a neutral costume. You know, we're Misfits were a dead punk rock band, so
they're dead and punk rock. It's good.
Neutral.
That is amazing. Where can people find you on social media if they're looking?
That'd be this guy.
It'd probably be at Tadbro Pro, at Tadbro Pro on Twitter, or That Weird Gaming Crew on Twitch.
That
if
Weird
you want
Gaming
to watch
Crew
us
on
play
YouTube.
video games.
Yeah.
And on YouTube, yeah.
The Bros are everywhere you want them to be, rocking all kinds of titles and just making people generally happy, complete with a posable pineapple. It is something to behold. And John Bullard, where are you up next? I mean, your dates are filling up for your big style ring announcing. And then, of course, we all know what's coming in May. Tell the kids where they can find you.
Well, of course, on Facebook, you just look up John L. Bullard. On there. Of course, anybody could visit Chicagoland Championship Wrestling on Facebook. We're also on Instagram as well, too. And also on Twitter, Chicagoland Res, WRES on Twitter. Mainly, my main social media account is my Facebook. A little too old world, I guess, but I can't do like Snapchat and 5 million other things. But that's one of the main things. But yeah, the ring announcing bookings, man. Like I was kind of surprised when I did that at Wrestle League, and all of a sudden, all these bookings started opening up, and people were wanting me to ring announce for them, and I'm happy about that because it's actually one of the first things I did when I broke into the wrestling business as a teenager. So with
kind of a full circle situation.
Kind of, yeah. I started ring announcing when I was 17 years old. So now I'm about to be 40. So yeah, kind of definitely much a full circle feeling to it. But Crash Tested Wrestling has kind of given me like a little home. I will say this, I want to give a shout out to Jed. I think a lot of people at first kind of give Jed a lot of shit. Honestly, Jed Williamson is actually a great guy. I enjoy working with Jed. Jed has never burnt me on pay. Jed has always been upfront, honest, and he really does care about the people who work for him. That's one guy that really does care about his crew. And I'm very grateful to be part of that crew now. Working for him, I got another promotion in South Bend, RCW. They're wanting me to start doing the ring announcing. And then, of course, I'm kind of doing little filler dates here and there for different places. Main goal for next year is to become a public address announcer for a sports team, probably either minor league baseball or go on to. I mean, I don't know about roller derby if they have a PA announcer for anything, but that'd be kind of cool to do that because I love roller derby. but that's one of my main goals outside of ring announcing. Outside of wrestling, I'm also available to do ring announcing for boxing, MMA, and Muay Thai as well.
John Bullard, the man with many hands, and there's the graphic for the big show May 21st at the Berwyn Eagles Club. CCW returns, the new era show. The Breaux will be there. The Shogun will be there. The Ewok will be there. There'll be chaos there. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a hell of a night. I can't wait to do commentary in Berwyn for the first time. It's going to be spectacular.
Quick add in. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say our next wrestling gig is going to be in April, and we're going to be in Wisconsin. It's our debut at Wisconsin Pro Wrestling.
Nice.
And then the next day is going to be Frontline Pro. We're in the Magistrate Battle Royale.
Oh, we had Ben Matthew on this particular show. He's a good dude, and Frontline Pro has some cool stuff doing. I'll be working with them when they come across the border into Illinois a little later this year, so I'm looking forward to that myself.
Please send me that episode to upload.
I'm sorry, I'm terrible. I'm working on it.
I'm gonna remind you every time it comes up.
Every time. I'm a failure in the eyes of Cactus.
Those are words that you put in your mouth. Yes. I did not say them.
You did not, but you didn't have to. Guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules tonight to entertain the masses in the way only you can. The Breaux are one of the most entertaining things that's happening in pro wrestling right now. We just can't get enough of Chad and Tad. Whether you're pineapple or pineapple-less, you guys are the real deal, and you entertain more than anybody. So thank you so much. And John Bullard, what can I say about you that hasn't been said 100 times by 100 people better than me? Keep doing what you're doing and keep empowering everybody, because that's what we all need right now, is a little bit of empowerment, and you seem to have the cure for that. So thank you so much. Guys, you guys can stay, you guys can go. We're going to recap the week, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. But if you guys want to go, you've done yeoman's work tonight. You got here before half the host did. So more power to you, and we thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
And be excellent to each other, bros.
Always be excellent, and remember, tip your waitresses. They work hard out here too.
And try the food. And one more time, I just love saying this. Bro. There we go. Red, do it.
Bro.
John?
Bro.
Cactus, you got a bro in you?
Bruh.
Oh, we could go on all night. Thank you guys so much. If you want to stick around and talk about CTW and things, you are more than welcome to, because that's where we're heading next on the Power Hour. We're going to recap and talk about a few things, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. But the Breaux, John Bullard, awesome people. We love you on the Power Hour. We can't wait to have you back again real soon.
Right on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. Those are those guys. Those are amazing guys. Red.
I will also be bouncing because I have a headache. So
Cactus Rack is leaving, but she leaves us better than she found us. Thank you, Cactus.
You are so welcome.
All right. So we're losing Cactus.
I'll stay with you, Steve. I'll stay with you and Red.
Oh, John Bullard is going to stick around to talk about crash testing. He was there. And Breaux, if you want to stay, you're more than welcome. But if you need to go, we're going to talk about IPW too. So there will be some bro talk as we go.
We'll probably hang out for a little while. Yeah.
All right. Well, they've never had. Usually, everybody is so quick to get the hell off of here. This is for the Power Hour. Crash Tested Wrestling happened this past Saturday. It was my first experience in the new venue. Red, I love this venue.
So do I.
Red, you had some drama this past Saturday, and you haven't really spoken about it. Things happened, statements were made, and then unexpected things happened at the end of the show. What say you about C Red and where he's at with Marche and the ARC?
I have nothing to say. Actions speak louder than words.
Well, you got kicked in the head by your friend. Take us through that experience. How do you process something like that? After you left, you come all the way back to support Marche, much to the surprise of the Kang on commentary, and then you get knocked out for your efforts.
Again, you keep saying knocked out. I was not knocked out.
Well, knocked down. You're right. Knocked down. How about that?
I'll just say, I've been thinking about that, but I'm going to hold on to the fact that I believe it was accident. I just have to believe it was accident. I don't think it was intentional.
Well,
and
I have to agree with you. It seemed fairly incidental, but I'm sure you'll have to have a conversation with Mr. M80 at some point about it.
We'll see. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's not talk about me.
What do you want to talk about that? He got what was coming to him. I've been telling him for months that even though I wasn't there, I had a receipt for him, and he got his receipt. What more would you like?
I mean, there it is. I mean, somewhat in all its glory.
I mean, I hit hard too.
Just have to wonder.
I wish you were there on commentary being my Chris Tucker. Where were you?
I was in a room trying to get my thoughts together. I needed to say something, so I said it.
Came out and you commanded the room like you always do. As far as me and Cameron, a lot of people are making a big deal about it. It's two guys that have personal differences. He was given the keys to Crash Tested Wrestling when he got there, and he made his pitch with high society, and it yielded no positive results. And I called him to the carpet because he's got great people that he's working with. Miller, although he and I, CTW social media is just out of control. Although I do have a strange fascination for this picture. Nick Diamond, terrific wrestler. John Bullard knows this. Chris Miller, not my biggest fan, but he's still been doing this a long time, and he's pretty good at what he does. And then you have Eric Schultz, who I have many problems with all over the place, but he's still a talented guy. And you can't take these three and do anything to entertain the masses. So he was given an opportunity. He did not take it. That's on him. Those guys deserve better than they've got. They're a little bit misprogrammed. And we're going to reprogram them once I beat Cameron and I eliminate High Society altogether. That will happen at Destiny in July. I'm not too worried about it, but it is what it is. There are bigger fish to fry at Crash Tested Wrestling than that. And it's the Kang who I'm worried about, because the Kang had a lot on his mind Saturday night, and he's going to have to get by Cody James. I'm not sure the Kang can beat Cody James. Red, what say you?
That's his problem.
I kind of thought you'd have more to say about your people. I mean, Renee Van Peebles and Mega Venom and a double DQ, both cheap shotting the referees, and you didn't really have a lot to say about that.
Understand. I've kept my distance from them. So I'm not gonna say that I have that I'm sitting well with any decision, because I haven't made a decision. Again, what I did Saturday night, as far as Marche goes, dude, I told you from day one. He's my day one. And however you look at it, hey, Cody won that night. I don't like Cody. That's no secret. But you know, Miles is gonna have to put up or shut up, and on May 27th, he's going to have to put that title up.
Without Red in charge of the ARC, it just seems to be drifting away. Not in the same way high society is imploding, but you've got Renee completely unfocused. You got D'Angelo Steele running around acting the fool. And you got Miles, who gets into a fight on commentary with a fan sitting in front of us as we're trying to call the action. When you see that on YouTube, it is one of the darndest things I've ever seen. The rule is, try not to talk during all the action, kind of let it flow. When he got into it with the fan, he was on blast, and he even shut down Steve Kenton. Now, that is just not something that ever happens in the world.
That's almost damn near impossible.
And he did, because he was getting into a fight, somebody sitting in front of us.
Well, I mean, that just goes to show. I mean, it's easy to get into it with a fan and, talk all that stuff, Again, what is he going to do on the 27th? Hell, what did he do at the last show in January? He took the cheap way out and he slapped a ref.
Yeah.
So
Miles is cutting corners. That's very un-ARC like, or is it very ARC like? I don't know.
It's not C-Red like. So
not C-Red like. That much is true. Other things that happened to Crash Tested Wrestling. We had more lethal lottery action as Marche won his match in spectacular fashion, and the return of Dazzling Donnie as he advances in the lethal lottery. Plus, another OG returns to Crash Tested, and that's your old friend, Willie the Bomb Richardson. And that was one of the highlights of the night when he and Marche got together. I was waiting for Soulja Boy to come on, and there was no Red to be found.
Again, they tell you timing is everything, and it wasn't about the soul touches, Again, for me, it was that moment where I felt I needed to be there and cheer Marche and try to pump him up and enthusiastic and get him going, so
it was a splendid affair. Crash Tested Wrestling really starting to hit its stride. There's Willie. There's the bomb. American flag right behind him, the urban American dream. He'll be back, I'm sure, at Crash Tested Wrestling as we head into May in Collision Course. Another show that happened this past Sunday was IPW, and I'm going to need the Bros and I'm going to need Red to give me the lowdown on that because I missed it. I was not there. So I'm going to shut up and listen to you guys talk about IPW, and this is what it would be like if it was Red and Bro Power Hour. So, gentlemen, take it away.
Sunday we had the tournament, the inaugural, the medallion tournament.
No, it was not the medallion. It was
Aggression.
Right, you go.
That's the one, yeah.
The congressional tournament, yes. Something like that.
Yeah. It's a big word, and I didn't go to much school.
We missed most of the matches because we were in the back getting ready for our match. But
with the work
getting ready, huh?
It felt
crowd
like
was good.
It felt like a WrestleMania-esque event for IPW. Like it was a lot going on that night.
What'd you guys think of the hosts, Travis and Turtle, the JFW podcast, who actually kind of said some nice things about us on their show this morning, which was pretty cool. How were they as hosts? And I hear Travis got in a little over his skis, and Papa Red had to come out and bail him out.
they gave us the workhorses. So as far as I'm concerned, I love them. They're great.
I didn't bail anybody out. So the office of IPW gave the host control, and they could pick 2 matches, however they did it, and me versus Turtle. And that's fine. I never went into this with a JFW versus Power Hour mentality. I thought, we had buried that under the bridge. It was over. And I even started the match with a handshake to Turtle, showing him this was a match of, whatever happens, I respect you, you respect me, we go ahead. Clearly the workhorses didn't like the fact. So I'm assuming they liked the fact that they were getting a tag team shot against the Breaux. But I don't think they were gonna win. And I think it just so happened Treetop per se was being assaulted throughout the building and tried to make a run for it. And again, melee ensued, and the Breaux, of course, won, and they were unhappy. So of course, they're gonna take it out on Travis because Travis isn't a wrestler. Now here's the funny part, Steve, because you're always waiting to hear that part.
Cheers.
So here's the part. I had Turtle. I mean, I came out. I had Turtle on fire. I was good. But then Turtle switched it around and hit me with that back of the shell, and that kind of did knock me loopy.
Shell shock you.
Nah, he didn't shell shock me. He was getting ready to. He had, hit and punched, and he was getting ready to deliver shell shock from the footage I saw. Because again, once I hit the back of his shell, I was kind of dazed for a second. And then the next thing I know, I look out and it's a 3-on-2 assault, and that had to take me kind of back to, that's what they do. They think they got the numbers, so they, I don't think they were expecting, I think they bought into the hype that there was some war between us. So they felt like Travis didn't have anybody else outside of Turtle, so they hit the numbers. And I had to quickly remind them that, this old dog still bites, So, Mikey, he unfortunately had to get shell shocked. Then he had to go night-night. And just as we were pumping Travis up to splash Mikey, of course, they pulled him out the ring and ran out, like some scalded dogs, but it was that match in particular was a match of respect, and let it be said here tonight, much respect to Travis T and Turtle for what they do. And so I did watch some of the matches. The one match I did watch was Flash Harris versus TW3. Good match.
Yeah, that was a really good match.
Flash looked like he was gonna take the victory, and of course he didn't. I think a lot of time and I love Flash with all my heart, but he overthinks things a lot of times. And this is one of the times where he overthought the process and he took the L. I will say the four-way for
Alternative? No. Was that what
the
we're
title
saying?
that Russell holds.
Is it the alternative?
Yeah, I think that's the alternative title.
All I know is Renee gave him, and I don't even like Renee like that, but she gave him a boot to the face. She lifted her leg so high and kicked him dead in his face. I just knew Russell Shuffle was dead.
Russell's been taking some hard pops of late.
I saw him take a cutter off the top of a ladder.
The problem, though, I had with that match, it seemed Motivation Mike, if I'm correct, was originally supposed to be in the match, and because of the injury, he couldn't participate. And it seemed like instead of staying neutral, he decided to inlay some shenanigans, as you like to say, and help Russell while everybody else was down and hit all four corners to keep his title.
A match I heard about, Red, was Glenn Whittick coming out to talk about the school wrestle league and ended up taking on Kid Latin, what was supposed to be a pretty incredible match. I heard about that today. Can you speak on that one?
Well, that match in itself was bananas. I think it was more or less to introduce Kid Lat to the IPW Nation. And oh my God, like if it was supposed to be student versus teacher, like the teacher almost flunked. And I think the teacher started to get embarrassed from the student. So like he went full on what do you call them? The sexy
violence.
Sexy violence. He became all sexy violence. He just wasn't Quinn Whittick, I think when he started, he was just Quinn Whittick, and then he once he felt like Kid Lat started to really showcase what he could do, he became sexy violence, and he won the match. But just like you, and I know I've given him crap, but I love Kid Lat. I love this young dude. This kid, oh my God, can you imagine what more training under John with Skyday and Johnny Saint? Like, oh my God.
And the kid's already a young prodigy. That's a scary thing. Like he's at 17 years old, Red. Think of this kid's going to be like 21 when he's 22. With some more of this history, it's going to be untouchable, man.
Dude, when I saw him at Black Lives Matter, and he was in the Rumble, I'll say, and I kept cracking the joke, like somebody come get this kid. It's past his bedtime. I'm sure his mama is sitting outside. She parked. She waiting. She thought she was taking the kid to the library. I make fun of his young age, but at the same time, I look at him like, man, where is this kid? This kid is gonna end up on somebody's TV with somebody's contract with a pocket full of money one day soon.
Yep.
Real soon.
Yep. I agree.
So I love that match. Damian Gray, not your favorite person, Steve.
Piece of Jerry Curl. Yuck. Yeah, I saw he won the trophy, so that's great.
Yeah, he
More
won
idol shenanigans.
Yeah, and then so I'm assuming that you saw that him and Flash kind of banded together, and the idols at least two of the idols are still well and preserved in IPW.
And that means Roth is somewhere out there bargaining and pleading to get into IPW to bring the idol nonsense full force here. So
I mean, I've been in IPW for forever, and the idols were there. The idols have never left in some shape, form, or fashion.
Whenever idols unite, Roth always finds his way, and that's a bad business decision and a bad thing for everybody.
Well, again, I think he's left that up to Flash and Damian on this part, but he's more than welcome to have Miles and Renee if he wants, So
you're trying to make them idols now because you're disenchanted.
Hey, I didn't speak to them on Sunday. We were on the same card.
Bad things happening everywhere the ARC is. Hopefully you guys get it together and come back united. When's the next IPW show? Is it April the 30th?
So that is what was announced, April 30th. So, I mean, I haven't heard anything, but I'm sure the office of IPW and or the informational liaison, when they get a date confirmed, they'll let us know.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And I'm sure the Bros will be there doing their thing, and I'm sure Red will be there doing his thing, and everybody will be there doing their thing. IPW, it's the best kept secret in the South Suburbs on a Sunday. Come out and check it out when you get a chance in Richmond Park. It's a lot of fun.
Baby.
What? I'm sorry. What did you say, bro?
Baby.
Yeah, that's a boy. That's a boy right there. All right. That's all the time we have for this episode of the Power Hour. Big thanks and much love to John Bullard. Big thanks and much love to Chad and Tad, a.k.a. the Bros. Big thanks to Cactus Rack for stepping in tonight and being part of the show. And thanks, of course, to Rion and C-Red for being wonderful as always. Next week, our show will be back, and it is a surprise. I can't tell you, but I promise you won't want to miss it because, oh boy, have we got some stuff. So,
oh Lord.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for making us something other than nothing, because we appreciate that. I'm Steve. We'll catch you next week on the Power Hour. Have a great night, and
happy WrestleMania week.
Oh, we forgot WrestleMania. We'll talk about WrestleMania. We'll talk about it next.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
No, we won't. We probably won't.
We always say that. We won't.
Is Cody going to beat Roman? That's the question. We'll find out.
I hope not.
We'll find out what happens this Sunday.
I am the one. I am one of the ones.
You are one of the ones. You are Logan Paul, and that's the match you're looking forward to. But that's neither here nor there.
Bull crap. Yeah, you know what? I am. Just so he can realize, get the hell out of our damn business. That's the only reason. I'm not saying the guy ain't athletic, but dude, you have no charisma whatsoever. Like,
see, we could go for hours, but we're not. Don't miss WrestleMania this weekend. Catch the Power Hour next week for the big surprise show. And like the Breaux say, be excellent to each other.
Always.
Party on.
Party on,
Party
Dance.
on.
Good night,
Snoochie
everybody.
boochies.
Oh,
Snoochies.
did I hear Snoochie Boochies?
Snoochie
Snoochie
Boochies
Boochies.
too, yo.
All right, one more time. Bro!
Bro.
There we go. Good night, everybody.